ברכי נפשי es Hashem. My dear friends, we're about to study a very important page. Page 89 is one of the famous pages in the Tractate Shabbat, page dealing with Agadata, a lot of midrashic stories, a lot of lessons that the rabbis usually use for their talk. So first and foremost, I would like to share with you some introduction to this page. This week we begins the book of Shmot, the book of Exodus. When it's come to book of Exodus, which called Shmot, meaning names, there are different opinion over the name of this parsha, of this book. Shmot, simply speaking, is just names. But there are others, like the Rambam, whose yortzeit will be in Mirz Hashem tomorrow, the great Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, as well as one of my Rosh Yeshiva, Rav Mishkovsky, that it's also his yortzeit tomorrow. The Rambam called this book Sefer HaGeula, the book of salvation, of redemption. Rav Hai Gaon called this book, the book of Shmot and Exodus, Sefer HaSheni, the second book. And we explained that the Nativ of Volozhin tells us the reason that it's called Sefer HaSheni, the second book, it's because it's continuation of the story of the Bereshit, the continuation of the whole creation of the world and the process of famous story of creation and then the ancestor stories. Ve'ele Shmot, and these are the names, the beginning with the word Vav, Ve'ele, with the letter Vav. And it's a little hint, because we're using the letter Vav, and usually in the Sefer Torah, there comes, if you look and you open the Sefer Torah from the beginning to the end, you see that excluding very few places, it all begins with the letter Vav. Only Yashmo, in those specific places, 6 places, Bet is Bereshit, etc., all this list, they have a different reason why it starts with a different letter. But other than these 6 spots, it's always Vav. And here we have Ve'ele Shmot, and these are the names, and it's a repetition of the names of the children of Yaakov, Israel, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Issachar, etc. And it's come from the idea, the Baal HaTurim said, because it's written Vavei Ha'amudim, Vav and Vav of the way that they built the tabernacle, it was a pillars. And it's a combination of both Vav, 6 plus 6 is 12. These are the names of the ancestors. So the reason Rav Hai Gaon used the word Sefer HaSheni, the second book, because it's a strong correlation, which soon we're going to study in this page, between the names and the story of our people, the slavery, the time that Jacob was forced to end up in the land of Egypt, and our story to our times. It's like Sefer HaSheni is like the second book, which is the second chapter, in a sense, of book of Bereshit. We are now at the special time, it's called Shovavim, Shovavim Tat. Shovavim, the Arizal said that this is a special weeks. Shovavim is abbreviation of the weekly portion of Shin is Shmot, Vav is Va'era, Bet is Bo, the other Bet is Beshalach, Yud is Yitro, and Mem is Mishpatim, and then Tat is a Truma and Tetzaveh, a special time. The great Arizal said that it's a time of Tikkun HaNefesh, time that it's repairing of the Midat HaYesod, the foundation, the source of the trait of a person, is a time to repair. The whole idea, he said, of going to Egypt applied to the Tikkun Pgam Adam HaRishon. It's the repairing of the mistake of the famous beginning of Genesis, of the first man, of Adam. And that's the idea of Mitzrayim, going to the era of decay, meaning all the story of the seed planted in the deep situation that it's decay and it's almost gone, yet out of all of that come a beautiful tree, a beautiful flower, beautiful fruits. The great Maimonides, the Rambam, again, the outside is tomorrow, in his famous letter to his son, he said that the story of Egypt shouldn't take only in a sense of history of our people, but also in a personal level, that each person have this constant dialogue with his own Egypt, he said. He told his son that his own Egypt applied to the evil inclination and the good inclination, which we called yesterday and today also in our studies, that this is the Egypt eternally within the person that is constantly struggle. Unlike an angels, he himself struggled to overcome those challenges. He struggled to get to the point that he overcome and succumb his situations and will be able to go in the next world with heads high, be able to say that he overcome those challenges, who are so many in so many areas. So we see Ve'ele Shmot, these are the names, and we go to the names of the 12 sons of Yaakov. But we also have in Ve'ele Shmot the idea of the second book of Moses, the book of Moshe Rabbeinu. And as you know, that Moshe Rabbeinu has 10 names. I heard once from the great Yerushalayim Magid, the great Jerusalem rabbi by the name of Rabbi Shalom Shvadron. I used to hear him many years ago in my childhood. And he said a famous story from the great Rabbi Dr. Lehman. It was in the old years of Germany, going back many decades ago, a rabbi and doctor that was not only a scholar and a great librarians and erudite in many avenues, but also a teacher and rabbi of community. So he said that once upon a time, they asked him, what's the reason that Moses has 10 names? What's the meaning of all these names? Because the great Noam Elimelech, my great-great-grandfather, said that the name of a person is, he quotes several Talmud sources, is a reflection not only of some type of prophecy of his parents, but also a reflection of a destiny of a person, or reflection of past life, future, etc., with all involved with his name. So what is that has to do with Moses? So Rav Lehman said that once he was called the king of Germany, in those years he used to have a king, he sent a letter and he asked him and the head of the community to go and meet the king. And Germany, and especially those years, that was a very serious, you cannot take it lightly. So it was a long preparation, and the day comes, and they have to catch a train. The train was 10 o'clock in the morning, and right after the davening and everything, 9 o'clock, the rabbi prepared his packages, ready to go. In those years it was horses and wagon, in order to take you to the train. They're all waiting for him outside, and lo and behold, a fellow came in to his chamber, and he wanted to speak to the rabbi. So the rabbis and the wife said, I'm sorry, the rabbi is about to go to this important meeting with the king, he cannot see anyone. But the fellow said, look, I came from far away, I just need 2 minutes of the rabbi's time, please let me in. So eventually the rabbi heard that, he said to his wife, let him in. So he came in and he started talking and said, Rabbi, you know, I'm so happy I made it here, and I'm so happy I can see you, and I'm so happy to be part here. And the rabbi said, okay, make it short, I have to rush, I have to run, tell me what's the story. And he goes on, and he said, you know, I have a child. You say, okay, Mazel Tov, so what do you want to say? No, Rabbi, that child passed away. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, but listen, Rabbi, I have another thing to tell you. Okay, so make it short. What do you want to say? It's already 9:15. He says, well, I have another child. So what do you want to say? Mazel Tov. No, yeah, but I have a problem. What's the problem? It was a very hard procedure of the 9 months. Okay, so what's the point? So, Rabbi, I need to tell you the whole story. Yeah, but I have to run, the Rabbi said. And the guy was really nudnik. Goes on and on and on and on. He didn't reach the point. It goes just around. The Rabbi said to him, look, you either ask me what you want to ask, the question, because I must run. It's already 9:25 and I must run. So eventually, the guy followed him outside. He was about to get on the transportation, and he said to him, okay, here is my question. I just need to know, since I have a baby, and soon we're going to have the brit, the circumcision, I just need to know what name I should call the child. Oh, the rabbi couldn't believe it. That's your question? He's already on the wagon. He's ready to rush. He was all upset. It's 9:35. So he said to him, like, the name of sons of Yaakov. He says, all right, call him whatever. Reuben, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Issachar, Zvulun, Gad, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, whatever. All these names. Yosef, Binyamin. And he ran. Fine. The rabbi rushed. They reached to the train station. And lo and behold, about to stop. The train already left. And all the people, the heads of the communities, were standing there at the train station. They're all upset. It's a very important meeting. It's a meeting of the king. And what should they say now? And the rabbi, all sweat, come out and he said, I'm sorry, I apologize. I was ready on time, but what can I do? A fellow came and asked me this question. It was really bothersome and nudnik, and I couldn't answer, and I'm embarrassed to say I have no excuse, but that's what happened, and I couldn't control the situation. So they start thinking how they please the king, and what should they say now? While they're planning the answers and ready to go back to the community, it turns that shortly after that train departed, it was a terrible accident, and no one survived. So when the news came to the king, and it came to the king, and the king reported back that they are not on the train and they missed the train, both sides are very pleased and happy. So the rabbi said, for a long time, I believe that I saw Elijah, I saw the Messiah, I saw a man of God. Because without that nudnik, that person that came there and bothered me for such a half an hour and drive me crazy over the name of the child, I'll be one of those people who perish on this, God forbid, on this train. Me and all the heads of the community. So that story went on and on and on for 12 years. Every year at that day, the rabbi made a l'chaim, and he was very happy, and he thanked God for sending him Elijah to save his life. Yet, a little more than 12 years later, one day, a fellow knocked at the rabbi's door. And the rabbis opened the door, and lo and behold, that's the person. And he said, Rabbi, do you remember me? Do you know, I am the fellow that came to you 12 years ago. Remember, with my child, my baby? The rabbi couldn't believe it. This is the fellow. This is the guy. He's for real. Okay, come over, let's talk. And he go on and on and on and on to tell the rabbi the whole story. And he tell him that the child is doing well, and he's doing well in school. So make it short, now it's already hour. Tell me what's the last point you want to say. I would like the rabbi to come to my son bar mitzvah. Will be soon. Now the rabbi cannot refuse. You know, the man saved his life. The man is nudnik, he lived far away out of this big city in a small village from nowhere. But he is, in a way, saved his life. So the rabbi went to the rabbis and said, look, we have to make our plan, and that Shabbat we have to go and be together with that fellow. So sure enough, they set up the plan, and they went to that fellow, and they spent the Shabbat there. Shabbat morning, the rabbis get aliyah. He gets the honorable aliyah, the 6th aliyah for the important rabbis. And then it's a time to do the maftir and the haftorah. And the Gabbai called the bar mitzvah boy. And he chanted and he said, Ya'amod, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Issachar, Zvulun, Binyamin, Gad, Naphtali, Gad, Asher. And then you go to Mishaberach again and again and again. All these 12 names. The rabbi is looking around, he says, are they making fun here? What's going on? He couldn't believe. And he said, no, this is only the bar mitzvah, but can you imagine after 120 years or under the chuppah, they need to make all these 12 names of one person? So when it was over, the rabbi went to that fellow and said, tell me, Rabbi, tell me, what's the long list of names? And the guy looked at the rabbi and says, I don't understand what's the issue. I asked you, remember, you are running on your wagon, you're running fast, and I asked you for the name, and you told me, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, so I just followed the way you told me. So I just mentioned the whole 12 names. For sure, he didn't understand that the rabbi meant to say, pick and choose one of those names. But my dear friends, the point here, when you're using shmot, when you're using names, it means that when it's come to Moshe Rabbeinu, and come to the 12 tribes, each name represents a painful and important lesson in history. Each name, like Yekutiel, all these names imply to a very important message. So here we are, page 89, and we are in a sugya of Moshe Rabbeinu begins with his negotiation with Malachim, the angels, the ministering angels, talk to God and said, why you give the people the gift of Torah? What's the reason? And in our language, Moses hold the throne of glory of God, and then he start explanation or negotiation or talk to the ministering angels, explain to them why the people, the nation of Israel, deserve to receiving this blueprint of life, the Torah, that show and illustrate the beauty of personality of Moshe Rabbeinu and the beauty of the nation of Israel. So we are on page 89. At the top of the page, but just few lines to remind us the story from the previous page. At the beginning of that negotiation, they start over each and every dibra, each and every commandment of the 10 commandments. So the first one, Moses said to them, you know, ministering angels, you know that it's written, I am your Lord, your God, who took you out from the land of Egypt. So Moses asked them, did you ever went to a terrible slavery with the evil Pharaoh, like the nation of Israel went to? Why do you deserve to give the Torah? That's the first commandment. Then he said, the Torah said in the next commandment, you shall not have other God but me. So did you have the opportunity to live among nations? Many of them were idol worshippers. And you are able to overcome that tremendous challenge? Not. So, what gives you the rights to say that you want to hold the Torah and deserve to have the Torah instead of the nation of Israel? Then he go over the commandment, and now he skip commandment 3, go to 4, and later go back to 3. We're not going the reason, we just go over that dialogue between ministering angels and Moses. We are at the top of page 89. Shuv ma katuv ba. What is the next one? Zachor et Yom Shabbat lekadsho. That's basically the 4th commandment. Remember the Shabbat to sanctify it. It's the book of Exodus chapter 20. Klum atem osim melacha she'atem tzrichim shvut. He asked them, do you perform labors that require rest from it? You don't have that challenge, you don't have that freedom of choice, you don't have that constant dialogue within yourself, within the Yetzer Hara. Next, Shuv ma katuv ba. The next one, this is basically going backward, is the 3rd commandment. What they said, Lo tisa, you shall not carry the name of God in vain. Masa u'matan yesh benechem? Do you have any type of negotiation between two parties that sometimes people take an oath? And it's important to know that when people taking an oath, it's a violation of this commandment, because especially taking an oath and using name of God, that's in a violation. You don't have that challenge. Next, Shuv ma katuv ba. What is written in the fifth commandment? Kabed et avicha ve'et imecha. Honor your father and your mother. So he asked them in regard to the fifth commandment, he said, Ava em yesh lachem. You are ministering angels. You live in the world of spirituality. Do you have parents that you need to struggle with honoring them sometimes? Shuv maktiv ba. The next side of the commandment. Lo tirtzach, thou shall not kill. Lo tin'af, you shall not commit adultery. Lo tignov, you shall not do kidnapping. So he said, Kin'ah, this is the 6th, 7th, and 8th commandment. He said, Kin'ah yesh benechem? Do you have any type of jealousy that cause people to kill each other, like Cain and Abel, etc.? Do you struggle with these type of things? So the truth of the matter that Gilui Nashas and other commentators said that there is a concept of angels' jealousies. If you read the Rashi, the very beginning of Bereshit chapter 1, sentence 26. So Rashi explained that there is a concept that the angels are jealous or may be jealous. There is a famous Tosfot in the Tractate Brachot, page 3, Dibur HaMatchil Onin, and there the Tosfot said that there are some circumstances that the angels may be jealous. But we should know that Rabbi Akiva Eiger disagreed with that, and he said it's only a type of a metaphor or anthropomorphic interpretations, and is no such a thing jealousy of them. But anyway, to get the concept that they don't have these type of challenges that we, meaning the people, need to struggle all the times. Yetzer hara yesh benechem? Do you have any type of evil inclination to commit adultery, and you need to overcome that evil inclination? Miyad hodu lo lakadosh baruch hu. Right away the ministering angels agree with what Moses told them. So the Khatam Sofer explained, and he said that there is a concept of external part of the Torah and the eternal part of the Torah. What they are basically objected, it's all the secret, the esoteric part of the Torah. And the people, if they do it the proper way, they can do both, the internal and the externals. So that's basically what it was, the big dialogue over the secret part. But anyway, Shene'emar, they said in the book of Tehillim in Psalm 8, Hashem Adoneinu ma'adir shimcha bechol haaretz. The Lord our God, how great is your name in entire land. Ve'ilu tna hodcha ala shamayim lo ktiv. But while that your majesty is placed above the heaven, is not written, because the angels agreed with God that it is appropriate to give the Torah to the people on earth. Miyad kol echad ve'echad na'asa ohev. So the rabbis explained to us that in every time you have this type of disputation between two entities, so while they argue, they may look like enemies. But when one side agrees that the other side is right, so that side turn around and become a very good friend with the other party, since they agree that the other party are right. So therefore, the ministering angels turn around and became friend with Moses. Umasar lo davar, and transmitted to him something that Shene'emar, it's written in the book of Tehillim 68, Alita lamarom, shavita shevi, lakachta matanot ba'adam. You ascended on high, you took a captive, you took gifts on account of men, and even among the rebellious also the Lord God might dwell there. So therefore, Bishar shekra'ucha Adam, because the ministering angels, they in reward that they call you man, so you are in a sense angels the Torah. that you are the one who represent the gift. So לקחת matanot, which means because you came from the humbleness. Moses is a well-known humble person, and you said out of love of Torah and the nation of Israel, so you received the gift. So and because they belittle him, they give him the gifts. What's the gifts? That's fascinating. They said, Af malach hamavet masar lo davar. Even the ministering angel of death told him secret, or his secret. So Rashi said, he told him the secret what can avoid death, which is that when they bring the incense, when Aaron want to stop the plague, if you remember the Torah, so he and Moshe use an incense to stop the plague. So that's the secret. Soon you see that that the angel of death gave him. Shene'emar, they said in the book of Numbers, Bamidbar 17, when it was a terrible plague, so he vayiten et aktoret vayichaper al ha'am. Moses instructed Aaron, and Aaron used this incense to atone for people. Ve'omer, and it's written, vayamod ben ha'chaim uben ha'metim, and he stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stopped. So he loved the amarle, if not the angel of death told him this type of remedy, mi havayada, because it's not written in the Torah, how Moses can do it. So the Maharsha said that there are many things that's not written in the Torah, but Moses know it indirectly through that gift. So he has to know it from some resources, and in that sense we understand that that was the quote-unquote gift that the angels of death gave it to him. And Khatam Sofer elaborated on that, and he said that that was the gift that used not so much for him personally, but for creating a remedy, a healing for the nation. Ve'amar Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi said after the receiving the gift of Torah, בשעה שירד משה מלפני הקדוש ברוך הוא, when Moses ascended from standing before God, בא שטן ואמר לפניו, תורה היכן. So the Satan came and said, where is the Torah? So the Tosfot asked, what do you mean where is the Torah? Why the Satan doesn't know where is the Torah? So the Khatam Sofer said, yes, he know, but Satan is the same as the angel of death, is the same idea of the evil inclination. So he wants to know what exactly happened. In other words, he knew clearly what's the giving of the Torah, but he continued to do his job with the evil inclination, tried to convince the people to back off from the idea of accepting the Torah. And he tried to tell people, it's too hard. They use that word for the Satan in the book of Iyov, the book of Job, chapter 11. Use the Torah that's so difficult, it's so deep, it's so big, etc. Why bother? Amar lo, so God said, Netati ala aretz, I gave it to the earth. What does that mean, I gave it to the earth? So the Maharsha said, there is a concept, it's called Malach HaMemuneh. There is a ministering angel for every nation, for every entity. So in that language, he was talking with the ministering angel that in charge for the land. Halach esel eretz, so the Satan went to the ministering angel that called Eretz. Amar lei Torah echani, he asked him, where is the Torah? And he said to him, Amra lo Elohim evin darka. The God know that way, which means it's above me. Alach etzel yam, he went to the ocean. Ve'amar lo en imadi, the ocean said, the Torah is not by me. Alach etzel tehom, he went to the depth of the water. And the same envy, he said the same thing, I don't have it. Shene'emar t'om amar lo vihi, ve'yam amar en imadi. So he said that the depth said, it is not with me, and the sea said, it's not with me. So avadon v'mavet, So he went to the destruction and death, and destruction of death said to him, Amru beoznenu shamanu shim'a. Destruction and death said, we heard the rumor of it with our ears. Which means, we heard that the Torah was given to the people, but it's not in our domain. Chazar v'amar lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So he returned and he said before God, Ribono shel olam, חיפשתי בכל הארץ ולא מצאתי. Master of the world, I searched the whole land and I could not find it. אמר לו, so God responded to him and said, לך אצל בן עמרם, go to the son of Amram. So the rabbi said, why are they using the son of Amram? So they said that Amram was one of the people that wasn't seen. So because he is free of sin, so therefore Maharsha said that's the reason he went to him. Ben Amram, son of Amram, applied to Moshe Rabbeinu, found to Moses, who is the son of Amram. Halach etzel Moshe, so he went to Moses. אמר לו, תורה שנתן לך הקדוש ברוך הוא הכני. Where is the Torah that God gave you? So he responded and he said to him, אמר לו, Moshe said to him, וכי מה לי שנתן לי הקדוש ברוך הוא תורה? He says, I'm nothing. I don't know all of this. Who am I to know all the Torah? I don't know the whole secrets. It's above my knowledge, the Maharsha said. He meant to say, Chatam Sofer adds, an act of tremendous humbleness. אמר לו הקדוש ברוך הוא למשה, משה בדאי אתה. God said to Moses, come on, Moshe, you are, why are you saying this? You are a fabricator. Why are you saying that? I gave you the Torah. Amar lefanav, so Moses said to God, Ribono shel olam, Master of the universe, chemdag nuzah yesh lecha. You have this great gift, that is the Torah. She'ata mishta'ashea b'kol yom, that you have the joy of that every day. Ani achzik tova le'atzmi. I should take a credit for something that you created? It's you and your credit, and you beneficiary. You are the one who make it happen. אמר לו הקדוש ברוך הוא למשה, so in response God said to Moses, הואיל ומיעטת עצמך, because since you belittle yourself, which means you make yourself like nothing, you reduce yourself in your portion of receiving the Torah and you put everything on my shoulder, on God's shoulder. So I make sure, תיקרא על שמך, I'll make sure that the Torah will call by your name. As it stated, שנאמר in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, זכרו תורת משה עבדי. Remember the Torah of Moses, my servant, to whom I commanded at Horeb laws and status for all of Israel. Another drasha of Rabbi Shimon Yehoshua ben Levi. ואמר רבי יהושע בן לוי, בשעה שעלה משה למרום, מצאו לה הקדוש ברוך הוא שהיה קושר כתרים לאותיות. When Moses went up, he saw that the Holy One tying crowns on letters. If you look carefully at the original Sefer Torah, you see on the letters there are crowns on certain letters. So you see on those letters that they have crowns, it's a 7 letters. It's called Sha'atnez Getz. And the letter Shins, on letter Tet, on letter Ayin, Tet, Nun, Zayin. All this letter, it's at the top of the letter. You see this a little tag on those letters. So he said, he saw, again, it's an anthropomorphic, it's a human language. He saw God to have this at the top of the put this tying these letters to the Torah. אמר לו, so God said to him, Moshe, אין שלום בעירך? There's no peace in your city, which means why you don't introduce yourself and say hello to me? That's again in our language. Why you don't say shalom to me? אמר לפניו, Moses said to God, כלום יש עבד שנותן שלום לרבו? So he said, does a servant greet his master? it will consider it disrespectful for me to do it. Amar lo, aya lecha le'ozreini. So God said, you, yes, at least you should have assist me and wish me success in my work. Again, it's in our language. What does that mean? So the rabbi said, first of all, always saying a nice word to give to people is good. It doesn't cost anything and it helps people. Even sometimes you think it makes no sense, don't underestimate your word. Even saying hello to people is important. That's one thing. But another thing the Ritva said, that by having a people overcome their evil inclination is winning of God. So in other words, in a way, the Ben Ish Chai, the Ben Yehuda said that God wanted people to know proper manners between people. And the proper manners between people is the idea of greeting each other and greeting properly. So Moses accepted right away, and he right away went to pray for Israel at the time of the great sin of the spies. Miyad amar lo, and right away Moses said to him, V'ata yigdal na koach Adonai kasher dibarta leimor. They said in the book of Bamidbar, chapter 14. So now he agreed and he said, now you increase, yigdal na koach, the power of the Lord be great, as have spoken. So it's important to know that the whole idea here, the dialogue between the two, it's also the message for us. It always is a clear, indirect message to us for all these interactions. Here the message is the proper interaction between people, the idea of be scrupulous in the letters of the Torah and more. The last drasha of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Mai dechtiv vayara am ki boshesh Moshe. What does that mean? What they said, and people saw that Moses delayed to come down for the mount. That's in Exodus chapter 32. It says, Al tikri boshesh. Do not say that it's late. Rather, we should say, Ela ba'u shesh. It's come 6. What does that mean? So here there are several points. Number one, the Maharsha said that people did not see it clearly, did not see what's going on. But it's the whole idea, the GEMARA said in Sanhedrin, page Kuf Yud Aleph, 111, that when Moses went up, he asked God why you behave toward the wicked in such a way and the righteous in this different way. And that's the whole idea, that when it's come to the letters, the Kuf and the Reish, Kuf is a Kudshabrichu, he approached the Reish, which is a Rasha, the wicked one. And it's the whole point. Later we see it in the Gemara in Kuf Dalet, in the page 104a, that God has certain patience and compassion toward the wicked, and that's the idea of delay. But anyway, back to our subject. B'sha'a she'ala Moshe lamarom, when Moses went up to heaven, Amar lahem liYisrael, he said to the nation of Israel, Lesof 40 yom bitchilat shesh, at the end of the 40 days, at the beginning of the 6th hour, ani ba, meaning Moses meant to say that if you count the time between the Sivan and Tammuz, which is that he will return on the 17th of Tammuz, but the people mix the time and they thought he is coming on the 16th of Tammuz, because when Moses went up was the 7th, and that day was not in account, because in the month of Sivan, you remember the several days ago we said in the month of Sivan there are 30 days, so it means that it was 23 days in that month. It means that at the day of the 17th of Tammuz, it's completion of the 40 days, which is 23 plus 17, it's 40 altogether. However, according to the way that people counted, it was a day earlier. So either you say that the people miscalculate with the time manner with the 6 hours, or they made a mistake with the whole idea of the day. And that was the challenge. לסוף 40 יום, meaning at the completion of the 40 days in the way that people counted. So what happened at the 40 days, which is the 16th day of Tammuz, Bas Satan, the Satan came in, and he v'irbev et haolam, he mixed the whole world, which means either he showed them image that Moses is dead, Rashi said, Amar lahem Moshe rabchem echanu, he says, Moses, how, you teacher, where is he? He disappeared, he's dead. So the Ben Yehuda said, it doesn't mean that the Satan came directly to people and said to people, so and so and so. One of the way that we said that Satan is the evil inclination, Yetzirah, it's all is the angel of death, it means that he implemented within the thought, within the heart, the doubt over Moses, if he is really about to come or he's already dead. That's the point. He put it in the mind, in the heart. Amru lo ala lamarom. They said to him, he went up to God. Amar lehem ba'u shesh. It's already 6 hours and he's not here. So he's going to come, he's not going to come. You see what he told you, it's not correct. Velo yishgichu alav. So they don't pay attention to that thought. Met, he said, he's dead. Velo yishgichu alav. They didn't pay attention to the Satan. Alahen dmut mitato. Again, there are several ways. You can take it literally that the Satan, like you're teaching elementary school, and they said the Satan really showed them a picture of him dead. Or you can go by the whole idea that Ben Yehuda said that they have this thought, their reflection, their idea in their heart from evil inclination that said Moses is not truthful, he's dead, and he's not coming back. V'hainu de ka'amarle, and that state of doubt, that's what he said to Aharon. The people came and said to Aharon, come and make for us a God. Why? Ki ze Moshe ha'ish. For this Moses, the man who brought us up from the land of Egypt, we know that he is not what he has become of him. Exodus 32. So it means that ze, meaning the image of Moses, like either you say that he's dead or the feeling of death. So the rabbi asked, how come this happened? The people who went out of the way to see God Mount Sinai, they separate from all the materialistic world, and they saw God Mount Sinai, boom, they went down to that level of worshipping the golden calf. How that happened? So the great Rabbi Chaim Shmuelevitz, may rest in peace, explained that since the time that the nation of Israel left Egypt, Moses was always was the leader. He went on the front of them, he led them from all the deeds, he explained to them everything. Suddenly the Satan showed them that Moses is dead. So people lost they get out of order, they really lost their faith. And they are so broken-hearted, and they are so out of their mind that the leader is dead, that they lost the human image. And in that sense, he drives a very important lesson, that when a person is in a state of great confusion, and he feels that he has no place to go, the Satan can be much successful versus just dealing step by step to put the person down in the level of spirituality. In that sense, the Satan be successful that from the very high level, seeing God in Mount Sinai, boom, they went down and worshipped the golden calf. Amarle, now we're dealing with the name Sinai. Amarle Aumi Rabbanan le Rav Kahana Mishmi alach Mai Har Sinai. What is the meaning of the man Mount Sinai? Amarle Rav Kahana responded and said, Har Shena'asu bo nisim liYisrael. This is the mountain. The tremendous miracle happened to the nation of Israel. What's the tremendous miracle? So they said that because they have the out of a body experiences, because the soul was taken from them several times, that was the miracle. So they said, Har Nisai mi Ba'alei, so you should not call it Mount Sinai, just call it the Mount of Miracles, Nisim. Ela Har Shena'asa Siman Tov liYisrael. This is a mountain that became a good sign to the nation of Israel. So now they ask, Har Simanai mi Ba'alei. So we should call that mountain the Mount of Signals. Amar lei, Rav Kahana responded and said, Mai tama lo shechicha. Kamei de Rav Papa veRav Huna bed Rav Yoshua de ma'ain teba agadeta. So what's you not in front of this great rabbi that dealing with this word of Agada? It appeared that those word of Agadic word was not so common at the time of the Talmud. So he said, if you are there, you know the answer. The Rav Chizda veRabba veRav Huna d'amrit Ravayu Mai Har Sinai. They both said, what's the meaning of Mount Sinai? Har she'ada sin'a le'ovdei kochavim alav. This is the mountain that the beginning of hatred or disrespectful to the idol worshippers. So there are several ways to see it here. One way is to understand that it's a great jealousy. What does that mean, great jealousy? If you look at the people, sometimes I'm visiting people at the senior citizens nursing home, hospitals. You see people at the old age and they said, you know, Rabbi, I wish to be back at my 30, 40, 20s, 50s, because I feel that I waste my life in vanity. There are people like that, let's face it. You said to them, what is your goal in life? Parties, drinking, smokings, dancings, nightclub, bars, fun, whatever it is, materialistic, Lamborghini, whatever it is. People have all kind of idea of vanities, that's make them satisfied, that's please their desires. But after it's all said and done, they reach an age, they start making a self-search, and they said, I waste my life in vanity. I live in life on emptiness. What did I do here in this world? So in that sense, they are jealous of us, because we have the blueprint of life, which is the life of Torah and mitzvot. So the Rambam said in Igeret Teiman, and he said that that's the key of the great, according to his view, of great anti-Jewish sentiment. It's a key of jealousy. Why? Because they see that we have the blueprint of life, the Torah, that make the survivor not just for our life, but the survivor of the whole world. And because we have this ability, others are jealous. In a sense, you have the opportunity, you can take the Torah, it's not something that is hidden, but you rejected it. You chooses the wrong thing for your life of vanity. Then, others who are successful, you're jealous of them. V'hainu, and this, the Amar Rabbi Yossi beRabbi Chanina. That's exactly what Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina said. Chamisha shemot yeshlo. This mountain contains 5 different names. One, Midbar Tzin, the Tzin wilderness. Why? Because they're playing now in the letter Tzadik, Shenitztavu Yisrael alav. Because the nation of Israel were commanded on that mountain. Midbar Kadesh, the mountain of Kadesh, Shenit Kadshu Israel, because the nation of Israel was sanctified on that mountain. Midbar Kdeimot, the desert of Kdeimot, Shenitna Kduma Alav, because the Mishnah in Avot said that the Torah preceding the world. So this is the wilderness of Kdeimot, that the Torah was giving there preceding the creation. For Midbar Paran, the wilderness of Paran, Sheparu verabu alei Yisrael, because after the Matan Torah, so the Torah said, return to your tent, shuvu la'olechem. So people are allowed to go back to their spouse, that was forbidden before the time of giving the Torah. So therefore, this is a time that it's a time of getting fruitful and multiply. Next, Midbar Sinai, the wilderness of Sinai, She'yarda sin'a le'ovdei kochavim alav. That this type of hatred we just talked of idolaters came from there. Umashmo, what's the real name? Chorev. The real name was the Chorev. Chorev, what's the meaning? Upliga de Rabbi Abau. So this is an opinion of Rabbi Abau. The Amar Rabbi Abau, Har Sinai Shmo, ולמה נקרא Har Chorev. He is name of Sinai. So why his name is called Mount Chorev? He said, Shiarda Churba Lovdei Kochavim. It's because the destruction of the nation of the world descended upon it, which means those people who worship idols come the destruction from that mountain. Next, said Minayin. Now we go back to the Mishnah. The Mishnah said in the 86, they said Minayin shekoshrin leshon shel zehorit. From when they take this offering in Yom Kippur, they put a scarlet stripe of wool in the scapegoat. So he said, from where it's derived that one ties this. So they said, Kashani mibayale. They said, if your sins will be like the shanim, like shanim meaning years, but shani apply to something else. Shani is like the singular manner, which means it's like snow, like sheleg, and it's in a singular. So Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, the meaning, Rabbi Yitzchak said the meaning of the word kashanim. Amar lehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael. God said to the nation of Israel, Im yu chataemchem kashanim alalu, even your sins are numerous as those years, שסדורות ובאות בששת ימי בראשית עד עכשיו, that it since the creation up to now, kasheleg yalbinu. So Maharal said that it's applied to our lives, that even a person's sin sometimes, it's depend what type of sin. If it's a sin because he cannot overcome these evil impulses, it's one thing. But if it's a constant, it's different. In other words, it's different if the sin comes from the holy spiritual part of a person, or just because of his lust or desire coming out of evil inclination. So therefore, in this type of sins that involve with impulses, there is an opportunity for forgiveness. Darash Rava Mai Dichtiv Lechuna V'Nachcha Yomar Hashem. What does that mean? Go please and let the reason together, Hashem will say, in Isaiah, the beginning of Isaiah. Lechuna, Bona Mibaelek, they should say, what is it? Go please. Should say, come please. So he said, Yomar Hashem, Amar Hashem Mibaelek. God will say, it should say, God said. So the answer is, לעתיד לבוא יאמר להם הקדוש ברוך הוא לישראל לכו, ויצא לעבודיכם ויוכיחו אתכם. At the end, God said to go, Jewish people go to your patriarch, and they will rebuke you. So what happened? So they go. So the first they go, they said, Master of the universe, to whom we should go. אצל אברהם שאמרת לו, ידע תדע לו, ביקש רחמים עלינו, אצל Abraham that you told him, you should know that your descendants will be enslaved in Egypt. So, and he did not ask for mercy for us. אצל יצחק שברך את יצחק, by Isaac that he blessed Esau, והיה כאשר תריד, that when Jacob did not follow the way of Torah, so you can remove the yoke, so לא ביקש רחמים עלינו, didn't ask for compassion for us. אצל יעקב שאמרת, אנוכי ירד עמך מצרימה, the Jacob that you promised, I'll go with you to the land of Egypt, לא ביקש רחמים, which is implication to the 4 different exiles, and לא ביקש רחמים עלינו, it didn't ask for compassion for us, for mercy. אצל מי נלך עכשיו? To whom we go? In other words, who love us more than you, Almighty God? So therefore, Yomar Hashem, so God responded and said, since you put all your trust in me, הואיל ולקליתם עצמכם בי, אמר להם הקדוש ברוך הוא, ולקליתם עצמכם בי, אם תהיו כחטאיהם כשנים, כשלג ילבינו. Because you have this type of trust in me, and since you made yourself dependent on me, Almighty God, so if you sins like scarlet, they'll become like a snow. So it means that God will put the attribute of compassion and mercy and overcome the attribute of judgment. Now it's another Agadic part that speaks about the future of atonements in the future time of the nation of Israel. Amar Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani Amar Rabbi Yonatan, Mai dichtiv, what it means when they said in the book of Isaiah 63, כי אתה אבינו, כי אברהם ידענו וישראל לא יכירנו, אתה השם אבינו גואלנו מעלה משמך. They say that for you are our father, for Abraham knows us, for Israel does not acknowledge us, you Lord, our father, our redeemer, everlasting is your name. So it means לעתיד לבוא in the future. יאמר לו הקדוש ברוך הוא לאברהם God will say to Abraham, בניך חטאו לי, you son is committed a sin before me. אמר לפניו, Abraham said before God, ריבונו של עולם, ימחו על קדושת שמך. If that's the case, your children have sinned against you, so guess what? Let them be eradicated to sanctify your name. So if that's the case, so God is, in a way, is not happy with that answer. Amar Yaakov, I should go to Jacob, he have a very great sorrow of raising children. Or maybe he has compassion on them. Amar Jacob will say to God, Banecha chatu, your son have sinned. Amar lefanav, libno shlam imachu al kedushat shemecha, they should eradicate and sanctify your name. So again, this answer will not be accepted. Amar lo besav etama velo bedar dekei etza. I don't need neither the grandpa, which is Abraham, not the grandson, which is Jacob. Amar lo liyitzchak, so God go to Isaac, Banecha chatu li, your son have sinned before me. Amar lefanav, Isaac said before the Lord, libno shlam banai velo banecha. You mean to say, you said your sons and not my sons? And not your sons, my son and not your sons? When they said clearly, we will do and we will hear, this is act of tremendous devotion. You call them in the book of Exodus chapter 4, my son, my first son. Now you call them my children, not your children? Let's make a calculation of their sin. You are mathematicians, so you will like it. What they said. How many years average person lives? 70 shana. So let's say if it's 70 years, because they said in the book of Psalms, chapter 90, our lives is 70 years. So let's say it's a 70 years average person. Dal esrim, take away the 20 years. The lo anashta alanu, that you not punish them for the first 20 years, there's a lot of excuses. So the first 20 years, you learn from the story of spies, they are kids, they're making mistakes, etc. The first 20 years, it's forgiven. So Pashalu Chamshin. So what left? 50 years. Dal 25 lelvata. Take away what? 25 years, because half of the day it's night, and what happened at night? They are sleeping, right? So what left? Pashalu 25. It's only 25 years left. Dal Tatresreu Palga. Take away 12 and a half. The Tzaluyo Mechal. That they're praying, they're eating, they're using the bathroom. So it's half of the time of the day. People eat, drink, sleep, go to using the bathroom. What's left? It's only left for the whole 70 years, what? 12 and a half years of life that it's possible for a person to see. So you go by the majority, Marsha said, and most of the years he's not sinning. If you can take all the sins, mutar, good. Isaac said to God in our language, let's split it, half for me, half on me, and half on you. Which means I take responsibility of half and you take the other half. Which means there are two things that cause the people to be sinned. The GEMARA said in Brachot. One is the evil inclination, and another one that they are subjugated to all these different kingdoms. So God, in our language, Kivyachol, is responsible for sending this temptation of the evil inclination. Isaac taking responsibility for the evil decree of different kings, the kingdom that they have. So in that sense, Isaac offered to God that each of them will take suffering half of the sins. That's the Khatam Sofer explains. So and if you say that all on me, hakrivit nafshi kamach, I, meaning Isaac, already sacrificed myself. Remember the story of the Akedah, binding of Isaac? He was 37 years old. That was, according to some rabbis, that was the highest level of test, that he was ready and willing with full comprehension to sacrifice himself before the Lord. Patru ve'amru. So therefore, the beginning of the sentence said, Ki ata Yitzchak Avinu, because you are Isaac, our forefather. Amar lehem Yitzchak. So Yitzchak responded and said, Ad she'atem mekalsim li. Why are you praising me? Karsul HaKadosh Baruch Hu, praising God, that He is your real Father. He is the real cause of the causes to be praised for. Umach velehu, and Isaac, Yitzchak HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Isaac teach them the path of the Lord. Be'einayu, meaning not literally, the rabbi said, it means that he teach them the path of life, proper life. Miyad nasu enehem lamarom, right away people act as a penitence, and they raise their head to heaven. ואומרים, and they said, אתה השם אבינו, גואלנו, מעולם שמך. You are Lord, our God, our Father, you are Redeemer, and everlasting is your name. So it's very important. The Talmud is one of the 16th century Kabbalistic rabbi. He said that the key point of a whole survival of nation of Israel is the idea of involvement of life of Torah. That's the key point of survivals, because without that, that's knowing not just the Torah, but digging even the Pnimiyut Torah, to strive to know the different phases of the Torah, the esoteric part of the Torah. And the Shla elaborate on that, and he said that a little bit Kabbalah, just a vignette. They said that Abraham is attribute of chesed, of kindness, and Yaakov, Jacob, is the attribute of judgment. Yitzchak is the attribute of gvura, of strength. So Yitzchak, in a way, it's a combination of both. It's he take these components of Abraham and Yaakov, the chesed and din, and combine it with gvura, which create rachamim. So the truth is, originally it was the world created with judgment, but God saw that the world will not survive in judgment, so he took the attribute of mercy, and that overlap or supersede the attribute of judgment. But yet there are those selected people who's called Bnei Aliyah, people who are very high level of spirituality, like the ancestors, and God was very scrupulous with them, very strict with them, because Ra'iti libnei aliyah she'em mu'atim, the GEMARA said, because there are few bnei aliyah, there are few righteous, amadu shtalam bekol dor vador. So God planted these righteous people in different generations. So in short, what they try to say here, that all this suffering, it's in order to purify the nation of Israel. And Yitzchak, Isaac, it's like din medukdak, is very scrupulous judgment, and it's creating the zchut, the merit for the nation of Israel to be redeemed in the future. Now let's conclude this part of Braita. Amar B'chia Barab Amar Rabbi Yochanan, ראוי יעקב אבינו לרד למצרים של שלוש של ברזל. Because since it was the, if you read, for example, the Babylon exile, so you see how people went while they are cuffed with the irons. People go with the iron chains, so against his will. But here, Ela shezchuto garma lo, but his merit caused him not to do. That he went down in a nice way. How? He wants just to be close to his son Joseph, as we read several weeks ago, and that's the way he went down to Egypt. Dichtiv, they said in the book of Hosea, chapter 11, Bechavlei Adam em shechem, בעבותות האהבה ויהיה להם כמרומי עול עליכם ואת אליו אוכיל. I drew them with cord of man, with bands of love, and I was to them as they take off the yoke of their jaws, and I fade them gently. So it means that the rabbi said that if you look carefully at this story, you see that it is in that way, because if you think about how Joseph went, it's like went in that chain, he went to jail, he went to suffering. So it is, but it was for the cause of helping the family to survive the years of famine. But the Maharsha explains that it was like a process. It was, in a way, Yaakov get it, but told his son. The Sfat Emet, the great Hasidic Ger Rebbe, said that it's an allegory, which means explain that the righteous go down in the levels. Down, it's like going from the top to the Mitzrayim, to the level of Egypt. But because of the tremendous merit of Joseph, who survived temptations of the wife of Potiphar, the survived temptations and the jail and all these viceroy king, he is the one who created the merit that they get out of all this tremendous suffering for good. So you see the component of the Midrashic of Isaac and the Midrashic of Yaakov and Yosef, and you see how history repeats itself from the ancient time to our times, how all of that put together the picture of the reason for anti-Jewish sentiments, for the Jewish survival, for the overcoming tremendous challenges that Jewish people have all the times, and also conjunction to this week's Torah portion, beginning of time of Shmot, names, beginning of time of great suffering of Egypt.
Es Hashem